What's up, everybody? Fatboy Brant coming at you with a couple draft prospects to talk about today. Fatboy Bo had some things going on, so he was unable to get alive, but we wanted to make sure that we're still getting you ready for the NFL draft coming up, as well as your fantasy drafts. I know some people like to do them before the NFL draft without knowing the landing spots of some people. Not a big fan of that, but I will like to break down a couple prospects for you. I'm going to jump right into it and make this short and sweet for you guys. And I'm going to talk about a running back out of Notre Dame, Jadarian Price. He sat behind Jeremiah Love for the last 3 years. He's 22 years old. He's 5'11", 203 pounds. He did tear his Achilles in the summer of 22. So he missed his rookie year, his freshman year. He did miss that. He's a very physical runner, and he's very patient behind the line. Now, we'll talk about his patience a little bit later on, too. But he does also have good balance when getting hit, and he's able to avoid the tackles and get loose and get the extra yards after contact. Some of his weaknesses is he does need to work in the pass protection. And along with that patience, sometimes that patience does turn into dancing behind the line while looking for the opening, and he ends up getting hit before the line of scrimmage and losing a couple yards. Very limited sample sizes. You did see, he sat behind one of the best backs, if not the best back in this draft class in Jeremiah Love. But he was able to show that he could handle the workload when it was time to call on him. Unfortunately, the combine was not the greatest for him, as he did run a 4.49 40. He had a 35-inch vert. So it may take him some time to get used to the NFL and to get developed and everything else. I put a comp as Javonte Williams. He's a very physical runner. He, given the right system, the right scheme, the right coach, and a couple years behind, maybe a year or two in the NFL to really develop into a full-blown workhorse back. But I do think he has the capabilities. I think he's got the size. I think he's got the strength. And I do think the speed's there. He does have the capability of breaking off some runs. I saw something every 1 out of every 5 runs was for 15-plus yards. So he does have the capability of breaking off the long runs in the NFL and moving the chains. In his 3 years in college where he was active, he was a backup. He didn't see much receiving work, so there's lack of sample size there with that. He only had 15 receptions for 162 yards, and he did have 3 touchdowns in those 15 receptions. As for his carries, he had 280 carries, 1,692 yards, and 21 touchdowns in his 3 years there at Notre Dame as a committee backfield. So, small sample size. This is a guy that I think will end up going on a day 2 pick. I don't think that a team's going to draft him to be the workhorse right off the rip. He's going to go to I've seen some landing spots, like I'm going to use my team as example, Seattle, to help, get that void until Zach Charbonnet comes back. So you have the 1A, 1B running back system there. He's going to go to a system. You could see him go to a system like the Chiefs, where he backs up Kenneth Walker, but still spills some of that work. The Chargers, he's like I said, he's not going to be an instant starter. I do think that this is a guy that you can get your second round of your draft, your rookie drafts for your dynasty leagues, and really sit there and wait and put him on your taxi and just see what happens. He could be one injury away from being a starter. Obviously, we don't hope for injuries in fantasy football, but we do. He could be one injury away from being a league-winning back for you. We'll just got to wait and see where it goes. I do think this guy's going to excel in the NFL as time will tell. So I'm just going to jump right into the second one, and this is a wide receiver out of Indiana. That's Omar Cooper Jr., 6'2", 200 pounds. He was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school. He's got good size. Very reliable hands in traffic. He catches the ball away from his body. He's really good at finding the soft spots in the zone, and he's a willing blocker out there. He's not a wide receiver that's going to shy away from catching blocks or anything else. He'll block in the run game. He'll block on them screen passes, and with him being a big body, he can really help out with that as well. I don't think this is going to be a guy that's going to instantly slide into the number 1 spot. I do think that he'll be a number 2 wide receiver on a team. I think he's going to be a day 2 draft pick and help a team out right away. Obviously, like I said, he won't be the primary target right away. And that's one of his weaknesses, is we have a small sample of him being a primary target there in Indiana. He was the only 8 games he's the number 1 target there in Indiana. His route technique does need some development. And he relies too much on his athleticism to get off that press coverage, that man to man, and that zone press. So he's going to have to work on that and get some skills that are outside of just using his athleticism to break off and move and be able to get open. He ran a 4.42 40. Once again, I think this is another day 2 pick. I think you're going to see him go about mid-second round to a team. Buffalo Bills would be a great team for him. Get you a big body receiver. I know Keon Coleman didn't pan out very well for the Bills. I didn't really have a good comp for him. Some that I saw were Kadarius Toney. One I saw, I think, was Doug Baldwin. I saw him just kind of bounce all around of different comps. So I didn't really have a good comp that I liked for him. His stats: he had 115 receptions in 3 years at Indiana, 115 receptions, 1,798 yards, and 22 touchdowns. Like I said, this is a guy that has no problem catching the ball in traffic, whether it be in the end zone or moving the sticks. He's going to be a guy that's going to go up. He's got good hands. He's going to catch the ball away from his body. Give him a good quarterback with good accuracy, and he'll be right there fighting for a lot of receptions and a lot of targets in his first year. I do think this is a guy that won't be a plug and play, but I do think that this is a guy that you're going to be able to have in your flex spot by the end of the season next year. Like I said, just a quick short show for you guys today. Just get out a couple prospects, keep it going. I believe next week we're going to come at you with a mock draft that we're going to come out with it and talk about some landing spots that the experts are talking about. And Bo should be back with me next week. So that's going to wrap it up for me. So as always, stay hungry and stay fat, my friends.